This Carbon Process just absolutely loves a bit of side knob. Wheelbase, big demo day, Hampsley Forest, bike 3. Kona's Process 134 CR DL. Alright lads. Cheers. Oh, and you know what? I could probably do with taking the climb switch off. After trying to outrun you up the climb, I was like, they're both on e-bikes, I've got to try and stay ahead of them. Once more, professional behaviour. Cheers lads. That's better. So, Process CR DL means it's deluxe spec on the full carbon frame, and 134 means it's the shorter travel of the 3 process options. So 134mm on this, unsurprisingly. Then there's a 153 and then there's a X as well, both of which are also longer and slacker. So this is 66° head angle and 475mm reach on the large. So good balanced numbers, but it's got replaceable headset cups anyway, so you can easily slap an angle set in there, take another degree out of it if you wanted. But I have to say, the way it's railing at the moment with this 140 on, it certainly feels like this is how it's supposed to be. And the other thing, I don't know if you've noticed, but it loves getting its front wheel in the air. Proper fun manual bike, and that's because the chain stays super short, basically the same length as the 27.5 bike. 425. They started off that, they've actually made them slightly longer just for a little bit more stability out the back, but still only 427. So loves to pop and hop, which on a trail like this, pretty much ideal. If you read or saw my review of the Alloy 275 bike, we didn't get along super well, but already I can see, I'm already thinking, oh, I wonder if Scott at Kona will lend me one of these for a longer term test, which is always a great sign within a couple of minutes of getting on a bike. Yes! And this is the top spec bike. You've got SRAM GX, Axis wireless gears, all the mod cons, but it really is the ride dynamic at this bike that instantly engages you, sweeps you along in the fun. This is what Kona should be like. I mean, they've been classic riders option since I was selling bikes in the late 80s, and they came out with the radical sloping top tube bikes, them and Brody out of Canada, and this has just got that proper real rider's vibe moulded into every fibre of this big carbon frame. And while you've got that big 2.5 Minion DHF on the front, you've got the faster rolling 2.4 dissector on the back, so that noticeably picks speed up compared to something like a DHR. Gives it that little extra boost, complements and propagates the gains you're already getting from going with a full carbon frame. Encourage you to keep pressing the pedals, keep tracking people down. I've already outrun a bunch of e-bikes up the climb, so my legs are burning, but still into it. Alright, cheers lads. And then when you get the gap, because people are being polite, then picks up really quickly certainly for a bike that feels as grounded and hench as this. Now I still don't know, yes that is kind of a feature, still unnerves me. But this is definitely the kind of bike that encourages you to take the rad line, because it just feels really planted and sorted, even with that super short rear end which can unbalance the bike. This is feeling pucker. So quick static check. CR means it's got full carbon fibre frame. That includes both stays at the rear, that massive rocker link there, huge main pivot down the bottom, and then this nice swoopy carbon main frame, extended seat post there, really low top tube, really nice long blister ports there for the internal cable routing, and then that's a headset using replaceable cups in there as well. DL means it's the top spec, one of the top spec bikes, so you've got SRAM axis wireless shifting, GX rear mech at the back there, it's Eagle, you've got Maxxis tyres, it's Dissector 2.4 on the rear, and then a Minion DHF on the front. Exo Plus, both ends, so relatively light spec, but then, you know, this whole bike only weighs 13.77 kilos to be precise, so impressively light for what looks like a proper chunky bike. And you've got 475mm reach on this large with a 66-degree head tube, and I can't remember the seat tube angle offhand, sorry, I'll put it in the caption below, but I mean, it doesn't look super slack. I mean, it doesn't look super steep, but it doesn't look super slack either. It's always hard to tell when they've got a curve in the seat tube, but that means they can get away with this really short rear end. Even though you've got room in there for a 2.5-inch tyre, that's actually only a 427mm chainstay there. And then you've got that little chainring tooth protector plate there. You've got ISCG mounts. You've got a nice moulded chainstay guide. Really big pivots right through it. You know, this is a bike designed to take a proper hammering. So again, it's impressive it weighs as little as it does. And then heart of the suspension is this trunnion mounted. So you've got bearings at the top there. RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate Shock. So you've got all the tuning capability in that rear shock for the 134mm stroke, and then you've got a RockShox Pike Ultimate up front with 140mm, and again you've got top of the range charger damper with low speed and high speed compression on there. So add those G2 RSC brakes with your reach adjust and your bike point adjust, and this is a bike that's properly ready to rip. So that's precisely what I'm going to do on it. And while it's definitely easy to pop that front wheel up if you need to, it still feels pretty grounded when you need to keep both tyres gripping. But having that, whoo, that is always such a kicker, always catches me out. Oh, flies nicely though, again, just because it's lighter, that carbon frame just gets you a little bit more air miles off each feature, but really drops and lands nicely too, so certainly doesn't feel like I'm ever short of travel, and I'm running the shock relatively firm. Oh yes, it's not often I double something, but that just felt supernatural. Yeah. Oh, loves using the whole trail, but it's still stiff and precise enough to pull it into a sharper line when you want to. Make the most of that slightly tighter head angle than a lot of bikes are getting these days. Really, when you drop that outside foot, get your lean on. Loves leaning, there you go. Really kind of sits up early in the turn and then suddenly just crushes down. Woo! Unclipped right in the apex, just when you need it to. Natural turner. And even though you've got those big chunky stays out the rear, that proper block of a rocker linkage. This bike weighs in just over 13.7 kilos without pedals on for this large. So it's pretty damn light. And then you've got a lockout, well, a stiffening switch on this Super Deluxe shock. Anyway, so while it's relatively active pedalling, so you might want to flick that over for more fire road stuff like this, it certainly doesn't hang about under power. Very easily make an enjoyably efficient day bike out of this process. That's kind of the whole point of this travel category, really. Aggro geometry, and really good quality suspension, but the lower weight to stretch those days out as long as you want. And you've got carbon crank and press fit bottom bracket, which need a little bit more care in terms of smacking them off rocks or long-term maintenance. Make sure you don't let that BB get loose compared to threaded BB, but that makes for a really stiff power centre to the bike, and also that's the area you're pumping from as well. And with that easy nose lift and that short back end, it really loves to drive speed out of sections like this. And then you've got that woo wireless shifting is just so accurate. Even when you shift pre-turn, woo, like a bit of a slide. Oh, it's a good edging bike, this. It likes taking turns to the max, it really does, because you just feel like you've still got, like I say, that ability to just tweak it in a bit if you need to, or just turn it tighter, just catch each line through here. Oh, I love a bike that prefers the side knob, and that's exactly what this process is like. It loves to roar a tyre, work that softer compound on the outside of these tyres. Yes, process. Oh, this is a proper grin bike. I wasn't listed down to take this. Scott said he had it available. I think to be fair, I was only meant to do 3 rides, and I've still got another one to do, but I am so glad I bought this process out, because this is exactly what I want from someone like Kona. Such a fun bike to push hard, really rewarding if you're taking the rowdier lines. Hey, yes, Kona. 134 is a winner. Okay, so obviously super quick ride, just up the top and then straight down transmitter at Friends here at Hampsterley, but it's clear pretty much straight away on this process that this is a bike with real heart. I mean, you could probably find better spec for the money. You've still got, I mean, they're good wheels, they're WTB Com rims on there on DT Swiss 350 hubs. So, tough as nails. And, there's an argument that alloy rims are actually tougher in terms of being rebendable and stuff like that. And this might be the kind of bike that encourages wheel bending, but definitely some fantastic character and heart and agility. And again, you could get slacker and longer bikes if you wanted, but this is a proper turn and burner. Plus, because it's got that full carbon frame, it's not only really, really nice and stiff, particularly through that short back end, but it's pretty damn light for a bike that feels like a proper rowdy rally machine. It still comes up climbs at a fair old clip. And I really like, again, you could tweak the head angle if you wanted, but again, feels really, really sorted with that Pike 140mm up front and the 2 ultimate spec RockShox systems there working really, really nicely together. Yeah, properly enjoyed this one. Really, really enjoyed it. So thanks very much to Scott at Kona for getting this bike ready for me at super short notice so I could hit an extra lap up on it. Massive thanks to the Wheelbase guys for inviting me over to the demo to review these bikes. Thanks to my Patreon supporters who pledge on a monthly basis and they help support the growth of the channel. It's only a tiny amount, but it makes a big difference month on month. So if you really like what I'm doing here, then please consider supporting GKTV on Patreon and you'll get exclusive early and extended edits as a thank you.
But for now, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Click for notifications so you know when the next videos are coming up. There's 4, actually 5 if you include the Trek head-to-head video just from this day alone. So there's plenty of content coming up and more videos on kit, rides and other mountain bike interest all the time. But for now, I've been Guy Kestevan on Guy Kes TV, first ride reviewing the Kona Process CRDL 134, or all those words in a slightly different official order. Whatever, this thing rips.